the region despite ongoing concerns regarding significant funding shortfalls and persistent security threats. Resolution 2809 authorizes the maintenance of nearly 12,000 personnel to continue the fight against al-Shabaab militants in the region. International leaders emphasize that sustained support is critical to prevent losing ground previously gained by security forces. The United States and European partners highlighted the need for a credible roadmap to eventually transition security responsibilities to local authorities. However, troop-contributing nations warn that diminishing resources are making it increasingly difficult to meet their operational goals. The mission is now set to run until December 31, 2026, while separate UN transitional operations will wind down earlier this year. Global donors are being urged to provide predictable financing to ensure the long-term stability of the Horn of Africa. Morocco has joined 7 other African countries facing prolonged delays in U.S. visa processing. Others affected include Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and Zambia. The delays are largely impacting first-time B1 and B2 visa applicants, students, business travelers, and those visiting family. Rising application numbers and stricter security checks are placing pressure on U.S. consular services across the continent. Nigeria in the U.S. Embassy remains one of the busiest in Africa, with applicants facing wait times of several months. Additional background checks and partial visa restrictions expected to begin in January 2026 are likely to worsen the situation. Similar backlogs have been reported in Egypt, South Africa, and other affected countries. Officials say the delays could extend into the early months of 2026, especially during the peak holiday travel period. Meanwhile, residents of Mogadishu cast their ballots Thursday in municipal elections. The first local vote indicates the process is viewed as a test for Somalia's first direct national elections in more than 50 years. Around 1,605 candidates are competing for 390 council posts. With council members set to choose the city mayor, security was tightened, with 10,000 personnel deployed and major transport hubs closed during the vote. A 2024 law restored universal suffrage ahead of federal elections expected next year. However, by Parliament in 2026, sparking debate among opposition parties. Despite security threats from al-Shabaab militants, residents formed long lines to vote early. Officials described the elections as a milestone in Somalia's long path towards democracy and transparent governance. A helicopter crashed near Mount Kilimanjaro's Barafu camp on Wednesday, killing 5 people. The victims included a guide, a doctor, a Zimbabwean pilot, and 2 Czech tourists. Local media reported the aircraft was on a medical rescue mission, but the crash occurred at an altitude between 4,670 and 4,070 meters, Tanzania Civil Aviation Authority said. Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, attracts around 50,000 climbers every year. Authorities closed nearby areas and launched investigation into the cause of the accident. Rescue and safety officials emphasize the dangers of high-altitude flight into the region. The tragedy has cast a shadow over the peak's popular climbing session. Meanwhile, the South African Weather Service has issued a yellow level 2 warning for severe thunderstorms across the central and eastern regions today. Residents in Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and the Free State are urged to prepare for heavy downpours, frequent lightning, and potential hail. Impact-based alerts suggest a high risk of localized flooding in low-lying areas and informal settlement throughout the affected provinces. Motorists are cautioned to avoid flooded roads and bridges as storm activity is expected to peak during the afternoon and evening hours. In contrast, The western half of the country, including the Western and Northern Cape, will enjoy calm and dry conditions. These regions can expect clear skies and warm temperatures, making it ideal for outdoor activities and coastal visits. Emergency services remain on high alert across the northeastern interior to respond to any storm-related incidents in the country. Authorities have specifically advised faith-based organizations to suspend river-based rituals until the volatile weather system subsides later this weekend. Still in the news, public health facilities across South Africa recorded the delivery of 714 newborns between midnight and midday on Christmas Day. Gauteng province led the country with 217 births, while the very first baby of the day was delivered at midnight in Limpopo. The Department of Health celebrated the Christmas baby boom, but issued a stern warning regarding the high number of teenage mothers, with over 30 of the recorded births involved mothers as young as 15 years, sparking renewed calls for better reproductive education. Health officials urge all new parents to prioritize essential early life care, specifically emphasizing exclusive breastfeeding and timely immunizations. These measures are described as vital for protecting infants from preventable diseases and improving survival rates in their first month. Government leaders extend their gratitude to frontline medical staff for their dedicated service throughout the festive period. The department remains committed to strengthen neonatal services to ensure safe and dignified care for every mother and child. Meanwhile, the head of the World Health Organization says 2025 was a year of both progress and challenges for global health. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus highlighted the adoption of the WHO pandemic agreement as a key achievement. He described it as a powerful example of multilateralism, showing how countries can cooperate in crisis. The agreement is expected to strengthen global readiness for future pandemics. The agency also validated 13 countries for eliminating diseases and issued guidance on new health innovations. Lenacapavir for HIV prevention and GLP-1 therapies for obesity were among the breakthroughs highlighted. Tedros warned that funding cuts and humanitarian emergencies could undermine progress. Early estimates suggest childhood mortality might rise for the first time this century. Away from health-related matters, UN experts warn that Al-Shabaab remains the greatest immediate threat to Somalia and the wider region. The extremist group continues to carry out deadly attacks despite military efforts to curb its activities. Linked to Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab runs networks of extortion, forced recruitment, and propaganda. An attempted assassination of Somalia's president in Mogadishu earlier this year highlights the ongoing danger. The UN Secretary Council extended the African Union peacekeeping mandate in Somalia to December 2026, and this force of over 11,800 personnel helps stabilize the country amid persistent threats. Al-Shabaab also targets neighboring Kenya, carrying out bombing, kidnapping, and raids. The report notes an average of 6 attacks per month this year, with Islamic State growth in Somalia adding further concern. You're watching the African News on Voice of the People television, and it's time for the news analysis. We've been joined in the studio by Dr. Peter Anosike, an erudite, a writer, as well as a political and public affairs commentator. Good afternoon, Dr. Peter Anosike. Good to have you join today's African News. Without wasting much time, let's start off from the Somalia story, where we learned that the United Security Council have extended the African Union peacekeeping mandate in Somalia till December 2026. And this, is going to make them have over 11,800 personnel to help stabilize the country that have been faced with different attacks from Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda group. What do you have to say about this? Because we also learned that Mogadishu is working very hard on finding a way to conduct their first election after 50 years.
The issue is this: the founder of Al Qaeda, Osama, was there in the 90s. Understand? So that was where Al Shabaab that's really came on board. Even Osama was briefly in Kenya too. Understand? So trying that to spread his evil mission. So that's Somalia as a country, because as we speak, so Somalia is a failed country. Somalia is a failed country that the territories are being governed by different sets of people. There's no unified government there, understand me, because of the atrocities that's of this terrorist organizations. So they really need help, and they also need a military intervention. For me, I feel that Al-Shabaab should be given or the treatment that Hamas that was given to, because for now they have been on a rampage and they are winning this war.
Wouldn't that be tagged another war crime if you say that they should be given the treatment Hamas was given? Recall what Benjamin Netanyahu did, with them somewhere in Israel.
Depends.
The world tagged it a war crime.
It depends on who is defining war crime.
Oh, okay. Help us out, because I've been trying to wrap my head around this, that a certain terrorist group went into a sovereign nation, more like create a scene by killing innocent, and when the sovereign nation decided to retaliate, some persons come up to say that it's an overkill, it's war crime, it's genocide, and other terms were given to more like the retaliation from
most of the definitions in the word is subjective, not objective. So it depends on who is defining a war crime. For me, what IDF, that's Israel Defense Force, did in Palestine is they acted on provocation. Understand me? So they acted on provocation, and when such a thing happens, there's always a collective punishment, because you cannot easily separate the good one from the bad one.
So are you saying that the call from the International Court of Justice and also some countries, especially South Africa, that is championing in Africa, and other countries have started to join them to seek more like a more severe penalty or punishment for Benjamin Netanyahu over the killings of Hamas in Palestine, and also the talks, the permutation around them being sent out from that place of their origin, maybe to somewhere in South Sudan? Are you saying that it is wrong call at this point? Because we saw what played out during the G20 summit, where some people walked out on Netanyahu when he wanted to deliver his own speech.
Well, assuming that we have a retentive memory, around 1956, understand, there was a UN conference where the man that was representing Israel said at the UN, it was a joke, but a very intelligent one, that the Palestinians are thieves. Understand me? That Moses was bathing, and one of the Palestinians came and stoned his nose. The Palestinian guy simply said no, that the Palestinians were not there at that time. Understand? If you are not there at that time when Moses was there, then it means that the land does not belong to you.
So does it mean that the Arab-Israeli war that played out in 1940s
47
shouldn't have come up at all?
It shouldn't have come up at all. That's what I said. Most of the definitions in the world are subjective, understand? Depending on the side one belongs to, depending on how you are seeing things. So Al-Shabaab is a terrorist organization that has held Somalia hostage for a very long time and needs to be dealt with.
Now, do you think that the extension of the peacekeeping move by the United Nations is going to help in any way to, exterminate these Al-Shabaab group that have been cursing, one or two harm to them? Recall that this year, the president nearly escaped being killed somewhere in his country by these unscrupulous elements. And now, do you think that the extension of the peacekeeping is going in any way help Somalia regain stability, especially regarding the security laws?
They need help, understand? And, Al-Shabaab is also being funded by Iran.
Iran, yeah.
So, and they should also sanction any country that is funding them.
That brings me to this next question. How possible would that be when we saw that the embargo placed on Iran over I think 2011 was broken, with Pakistan sending them weapons which they cannot produce with China? What do you have to say about this? Because this actually happened, I think, last week or earlier this week or thereabout.
Well,
there was an embargo, and now we've seen them acquiring arms and ammunition.
There was an embargo, understand? And this is the mistake that's of Biden, understand? Because if Donald Trump has continued from 2016, understand, by now Iran would have been grounded. We will not have experienced what happened in Israel in October 7th, understand? Because Donald Trump held them, that them was signed peace agreement, their money was seized, but Biden came and released everything, and they begin to build again and start funding. Iran is behind all the terrorist organizations in the world. Why must you allow such countries to exist? So for me, the 1 year extension could help, but Somalia needed external intervention. And the soldiers there on peacekeeping, they should also be well funded and well equipped. If not, it is going to be an exercise in futility.
All right, still in Somalia, we learned that Mogadishu today cast their ballot. That was on Thursday, yes, they casted their ballot on Thursday. The first local votes indicates, and the process, according to some persons, was viewed as a test for Somalia's first direct national election, unlike what they used to do before, where clans should just appoint someone and send to the house. Now, they have, casted the votes. We are around the 1,605 candidates competing for 390 council posts. What do you have to say about this? Although we're told that the 2026 presidential election, will still be subjected to the parliament to decide who the number one man will be.
But parliament is also indirect election, because it is those that we are voted at the counties that will go to the parliament and now produce the prime minister, just like what is happening in Britain. So it is good that there are, this is democracy on trial. Understand me? So it's good that they should start this way.
But do you think it will be sustainable? 50 years already. How many decades now? And they're waking up to trying or testing the water, so maybe this is going to happen. Do you think it will be sustained?
Before 1999, our last election was 2079.
Because of military
intervention.
So are we seeing Somalia is not having any military coup and counter coup?
But it is a banana republic. It is not one country as we speak. It is not, because there's Al-Shabaab are in charge of some territories. So it is not one country as we speak. But it is good that they will start this, and the turnout is also very impressive, to show that they are really concerned about the development of their country. Because while there's no peace, there can never be development.
All right, now you just made mention of peace and development. Why are we not seeing, United Nations presence in places like DR Congo, where they are also having their own internal wars, and Sudan, with the activities of the RSF and the M23 rebel already, in this place? We learned the other time there was a peace that was brokered between the Rwandan government and also the DRC government. But that peace doesn't really look like it's going to be sustained, because according to the information we saw, or rather, like, people were talking about the elements of the M23 rebel and other terrorist groups still having a high-handed occupation of Uvira and some other places close to Burundi region.
America is trying to broker peace,
hoping and believing that the gold will be given to them. So why won't the United Nations step in? Why will it just be US?
It should be enough to enjoy gold and silver.
So why is the United Nations not the one making the move? Why is it an individual country or United
Nations is a toothless bulldog. Understand me? Making decisions that you cannot enforce does not make any meaning.
Are you saying that all the power blocks, all the sovereign nations, all the people that made up the United Nations are toothless bulldog? Do you know how sophisticated? I hope you recall how sophisticated their, Security Council team are and all that. So when you say they are toothless bulldog,
which is sophisticated?
They were able to hold. They've been there in Somalia for some time.
Excuse me. Which sophisticated? Where one vote is enough to cancel a decision made by 195 different countries.
So are you saying that United Nations, it's just like...
It's like ECOWAS, it's like our AU. Understand me? Because now, if Donald Trump has gone to UN for permission that to strike Nigeria, Russia will have said no. Understand? China will have said no. So you can see the different interests.
All right. Now, you just made mention of Nigeria. I never wanted us to get there, but what's your opinion on the airstrike that we saw happened yesterday evening in the northwestern part of Nigeria? Some Nigerians were kicking against that. We have the likes of Moyo Shore asked, why would the U.S. come in? Why can't Nigerian government end the issue of insecurity? And then a certain Sheikh Ahmed Gumi also have called on the president of Nigeria to hold any cooperation or collaboration that Nigerian military is having with the United States of America over the bombardment or the airstrike that happened in Somalia.
For me, what I take out from before answering your question,
all right,
the shock there that this attack was revealed by Donald Trump. It happened in Nigeria, but Donald Trump was the one that revealed that U.S. forces strike. Our government didn't tell us anything.
Our government told us that it happened in collaboration with Nigerian authorities.
That was after Donald Trump has posted that on X.
But don't you think that was just a way not to push everything out there for Nigerians to, hope on and react? Recall what played out when Obama Barracks wanted to help Nigerians to end the issue of, to rescue the Chibok girls that were kidnapped in Nigeria. You saw what played out. Some military personnel in Nigeria today are being accused of complicity. So how then do you expect them to reveal such vital information before the attack will happen? Isn't it better?
No, after the attack has happened, it was Donald Trump that first revealed what happened.
So are you saying the Nigerian government is not aware of that airstrike that happened yesterday?
Well, I listened to what Donald Trump said, and I read her comment on X. He said, as the commander-in-chief, so he never mentioned Nigeria in all that he said. So it is Nigeria that's not trying to, we are part of this. Understand? We are part of this. But the issue is that if you cannot help yourself, you need somebody else to help you. And that's exactly what America did. This war against insurgents has been on since 2009. Understand? We have not been able to defeat Boko Haram. Then ISWAP came on board and other terrorist organizations. So they are multiplying in geometrical and proportion. So we need external help.
Now, something happened. When you say that, it was Trump that said something today, the defense headquarters in Nigeria says that a joint airstrike by Nigerian and United States military forces against the ISIS terrorist elements in Northwest were approved by the appropriate Nigerian authority. And also, this was in a way to make sure that those elements, non-state actors in Nigeria, be flushed out. This was made available by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Somalia Oba.
I say check when that information was released and when Donald Trump posted his. I'm saying it was Donald Trump that first reviewed of the strike. Understand? So not to be ashamed, Nigeria government has to quickly issue a statement. So which means if Donald Trump did not make his post, we would not have known that there was a strike.
Okay.
So this is my argument. So when you cannot help yourself, you need somebody else that to help you, and that's what the United States government.
So what do you have to say about the people who were against the strike? I told you just now that we have an activist, Samuel Show, kicking against it, and also Sheikh Ahmed Kumi also is speaking
what it shows, what Showore is talking about is that Nigeria has shown their inability to defend, to protect their citizens, which is a downside on their own part. Understand? Because America cannot call another country come and help us in protecting our own citizens.
But is it fair for Nigerians to draw a comparison, over the military might and strength of US, United States of America, and Nigeria? Let's check our ages of independence. Nigeria is a country that we're yet to get there. Just 65 years of independence. Can we? Is it fair now? Equating that with America,
55 is their grandfather and their grandmother.
Years of
55 is their grandfather and their grandmother.
It depends on.
Understand me? So we cannot. Another of the countries that we are at par with in the 70s are all super economies. Understand me? In the 70s, we were at par with China, with South Korea, with Singapore, with Malaysia, with Brazil. And today, they are all first world economies. And where are we? So it doesn't compare at all. It doesn't compare at all. Nigeria is not growing up as a country.
All right, a quick one before let you go. Just a quick one. I want to ask this question because you just made mention of what have the people in DR Congo benefited from the gold. We can also say that also about other war-torn places. Are we seeing another indirect scramble of Africa? Because most of the time we find out that some of these countries that are war-torn have some semblance of foreign entities there, more like the reason for their presence there is to cut away their mineral resources. If not gold today, it might be bitumen or anything in high demand. Are we going to see another 1884, 1885 Berlin Conference, or maybe an indirect scramble and partition of Africa again?
Well, right now there's a scrambling for Africa, understand me? Especially West Africa. That's where anywhere that France is chased out, Russia or China enters, understand me? So there is a scrambling, and these people who are doing this are not Jesus Christ, who we were told went about doing good. Understand? That's interest guides everything we do on earth. So they cannot just use their jet fuel, use their jet and come to help you without anything for them. There are two questions that the people in the Western world will ask: can you prove it? What is in there for me? So before coming, there should be what is in there for them. Understand? That's why America has to sign an agreement with Ukraine. We are coming there to protect you, but we are going to take this. So interest is what guides the. So
with all these
world.
interests that we're seeing playing out now in modern times, and maybe the indirect scrambling of Africa and all that, and also the fact that we have so many countries risen to power, the blocs and all that, are we going to see maybe in the nearest future another level of Cold War coming up, or would they be a full-blown war? Because, for example, in Nigeria, when U.S. made a statement of coming into Nigeria to help, flush out the terrorist group that we have, the extremists that we have in Nigeria, the likes of China were trying to protect their interests. speaking tough. We also saw Russia also being a bit verbose in that. And, with the present time, we have Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu condemning the killings in Nigeria and also more like throwing support to Nigerian government on how to end or squash these terrorists. Are we seeing this turning out into a full-blown war or maybe a cold war?
That's why you have to check where you are. Nigeria is a non-allied nation, understand? But before taking a decision, you ask yourself, who will protect me more? Where would I feel safer? China would only issue a statement. Russia will only issue a statement. America has attacked. What China can do is just to condemn and end there. Understand me? So who has that capacity? Understand? As the world stands today, understand? Nobody is as mad as Donald Trump.
Interesting. You say nobody is mad at him.
Nobody is as mad as Donald Trump.
Okay, nobody is as mad as Donald Trump.
Sure, whatever he says he's going to do, nobody is going to stop him.
And what does that portend for the world, the entire delicate nature of the world?
No, he's a peacemaker. What he's trying to bring that to Nigeria is peace. I want to protect Christians who are being killed by terrorists.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Anosike. We have a good news. I'm done talking about all the bad, the war and every other thing. Now, let's look at the good news here, although we have some concerns coming from that too. There's a report from public health facilities across South Africa as they made the world know that they recorded a delivery of 714 newborns between midnight and midday on Christmas Day. From the information, we learned that Gauteng, a province in South Africa, has the peak, the highest number of childbirth. 217 was what was registered there. But the concern now is the other reports following it that says that over 30 of the recorded births comes from teenage girls within the age of 15. What do you have to say about this?
Well, Christ has been born, so nobody should compete over giving birth to another Jesus Christ. So this issue of giving birth on 25th of December, to me, does not make any meaning. But the issue is this. South Africa is going through hard time, understand? South Africa, their economy is not doing well as we speak. And it is causing a lot of things, understand? Like this and prostitution and so on and so forth. And that's why you are seeing that's underage giving birth. Even in South Africa, any girl that is 18 and remains a virgin is celebrated because it is rare. And so that shows you how, and again, in South Africa, adultery is not a crime. So this shows you how immoral that the country is. So for me, I don't really see giving birth as a positive news. Neither do I see it as a negative news because it contributes nothing to the economy of the country.
When you say it doesn't contribute to the economy of the country, the vice president sometime, talking about the population of Nigeria, made it look like it's a good market. Yes. So when you say it doesn't contribute to the economy, we know that human being and its capacity also contributes.
One, China has done that by turning their huge population into productivity. Because they have what is known as one family, one business. And that's how China moved out of a third world country, which it was in the 70s, into second largest economy in the world and a superpower. Because they were able to harness their human resources and turn it into productivity. But in Nigeria, we have not been able to do that.
So you still think the giving birth is...
So population, it means market. But if you are able to turn it into productivity,
That's when it will be celebrated.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Peter Anosike. We've been speaking with Dr. Peter Anosike, erudite analyst in political and public affairs issues, and also a grounded author, a celebrated author at that. We appreciate your presence in today's African News.
Thank you for having me.
We'll go on a quick break, and when we'll come back, the rest of the African News continues. Do well to stay with us. Glad to have you back. It's still the African News and Voice of the People television. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan met with Sudan's Abdel Fattah al-Burhan to discuss the worsening conflict. The war has caused one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, displacing around 13 million people. Erdogan highlighted the dire situation in areas like Al-Fasher, where human rights abuses are widespread. The conflict ongoing since April 2023 continues to devastate communities across Sudan. Turkey is increasing humanitarian aid and support and cooperation in trade, defense, and agriculture. Erdogan emphasized that urgent action is needed to alleviate suffering and stabilize the country. He also stressed that Sudan's peace, stability, and territorial integrity must be preserved. The Turkish government is calling for coordinated effort to protect civilians and prevent further escalation. Still in the news, the International Monetary Fund has released updated figures on credit outstanding as of December 25, 2025. Total global borrowing now stands at about $119.5 billion, up from $118.5 billion at the end of November. Several African countries remain among the IMF's largest borrowers. Angola has $2.53 billion outstanding, Ghana $2.85 billion, Egypt $6.2 billion, Ethiopia $1.57 billion, Cote d'Ivoire $3.63 billion, and Kenya $2.94 billion. Elsewhere, Argentina continues to carry one of the largest IMF debts as $41.8 billion, with Pakistan owing $7.42 billion. Some countries like Colombia have fully repaid their loans, reducing their balances to zero. The IMF says these figures reflect its ongoing role in stabilizing economies under financial pressure. The data is informational and does not replace official reports or statements. You're still watching the African News and Voice of the People television. We're going on a quick break and we'll come back. The business and sports stories up next. Do what to say with us. Welcome back. It's still the African News and Voice of the People television. Now to some business stories. Economist Fadel Kabob is calling for a bargain of the century to transform Africa's role in the global energy transition. He argues that the continent must stop being a source of cheap raw materials and instead demand technology transfers to build its own industrial capacity. The proposal comes as the United Nations Climate Conference in Brazil recently approved the Belém Action Mechanism to support a just energy transition, while the mechanism aims to coordinate global aid. Experts warn that without systemic reform, existing economic inequalities could be reinforced. Kabob highlights that Africa possesses massive reserves of critical minerals like cobalt and lithium, alongside enormous solar and wind potential. He suggested that by banding together as a bloc, African nations can leverage their resources and growing population to negotiate more equitable global partnership. The strategy aims to provide electricity to the 600 million Africans who currently lack access to power while avoiding debt-heavy fossil fuel investments. If successful, this shift could position the continent at the center of a new multipolar international economic order. From the sports segment, record Africa Cup of Nations winners, Egypt, take on South Africa in the second Group B match at the Adra Stadium in Morocco. Both teams won their opening games and seeded on 3 points each. Egypt's Mohamed Salah scored a late winner against Zimbabwe in the first round to secure all 3 points. South Africa also won their opening match 2-1 against Angola, the first AFCON opening win in 21 years. Expectations are high for both sides as they battle to qualify for the knockout stage. Egypt aims to reclaim continental glory, while South Africa looks to upset the Northern Giants. Coaches from both teams are expected to field largely unchanged squad, but the match promises to be a tense encounter with Group B still wide open. Still talking sports, Morocco is gearing up for its Group A clash against Mali at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The national team is focused after a strong 2-0 win over Comoros in their opening match. Head coach Walid Lagouragui says the team expects a challenging match with potentially less possession. He emphasized discipline and adaptability as key for success against Mali. Mali midfielder Bissouma says his side is motivated to fight for victory. The team plans to give it all in what promises to be an intense encounter. Kickoff is scheduled for 1600 local time at the Grand Stade d'Alger. Fans are expecting a tactical and closely contested game between the two sides. That is all on the African news. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and across all the social media platforms, we are VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness reports, event coverage requests, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814-606-4057. You can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Fina Okechukwu. Thank you for watching.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Aliko Dangote is a Nigerian businessman and industrialist. He is best known as the founder, chairman, and CEO of the Dangote Group, the largest industrial conglomerate in West Africa. The Bloomberg Billionaires Index estimated his net worth at $16.1 billion as at November 2023, making him the richest person in Africa, the world's richest black person, and the world's 107th richest person overall. Dangote was born into a wealthy Hausa Muslim family on April 10, 1957 in Kano, which was then part of British Nigeria. Through his mother, he is the great-grandson of Alhassan Dantata, the richest person in West Africa at the time of his death in 1955. Dangote received a bachelor's degree in business studies and administration